Hello! I want to talk about this new Fire TV 3rd Gen Cube. I've stayed silent for quite a while. It's getting released tomorrow as I record this video in the UK, and it's a pile of cack. I'm just going to be completely honest with you right now. If you've got it, fantastic. You know, I'm sure it'll be a great device and everything, but relatively speaking, it's it's a shit device. And I mean relatively as in previous gen and that sort of idea, and the price and what else you can get and things, other devices you can get. And more importantly, the route that Amazon are going down. And this is what I just want to talk about because I'm really disappointed in Amazon. I mean, shock horror. Amazon have gone the same route as Apple. And, it's this kind of idea that we're supposed to get excited about this brand new device. This new device, which is in the UK, is 139 quid, right? So £140, I should say. And it's available tomorrow. And yes, look at it. It looks nice and everything else and blah, 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 blah. But why should we get excited about this device? I don't understand why we should be getting excited about this device, because compared to the 2nd gen, there is not much difference. And people are going goo goo gaga over the fact that it's got an extra couple of ports. And that's what I want to talk about. It's like the fact that they've added something, if we can actually get to it, they've added something to it, but they haven't really added something to it, because it's just, and this is what I mean by the Apple route. Yes, they've improved the processor slightly. Yes, we've got a new remote control. Yes, yeah, we're supposed to get so excited about a new remote control. Oh my God, why didn't they do this years ago? If you're talking about a new remote control, do it years ago. There might be bloody bad language in this video. I just thought I'd tell you that. But yeah, I mean, people are going gaga gaga over this device, and I don't understand why. Right. The good thing about it is you've got an input and an output port for your HDMI. So that means you can bypass it through an amp, which is great. I must admit, I like that. I really do like that, right? Look, these two ports here. Why are people getting excited about these two ports? I tell you, because people have been crying out for ports in these devices for a long, long time, okay? Yeah, fantastic. We've got a USB port. Oh my God, I'm so excited. It's USB 2.0. USB 2. Not even USB 3, but USB 2. And you would expect a premium device like this, £140, probably about $120. Everything's cheaper in the US now. To have at least, well, you'd expect USB-C. Let's face it, you would expect USB, wouldn't you? USB-C, 2022. But when you see a USB-A port, then you think, oh, bugger, we've only got USB 3.0. And then you find out it's USB 2.0. It's technology from 2006 or something. I mean, I'm pulling that date just out my arse there. 2006, whatever. That's how old the technology is. I'm not even finished, by the way, slagging this off. But 2.0. So you're capped. Your speed is capped to the speed of a 2.0 port. I can't tell you off the top of my head. I haven't thought this video through. I'm just doing it off the top of my head. But you're still capped at that. So yes, you can have network attached storage, but it's not going to be as fast maybe as you would like. That is a massive disappointment. First of all, there's only one port for a start, just one port. Put a couple on there. Why not? I think there's another. You could redesign that. Maybe put another port on there. Yeah. No, there's one. Only one. That's not the end of it though. Because we got all excited about Ethernet, and I think people have been crying out for Ethernet, okay? So on the one hand, the one thing they did improve is give you Wi-Fi 6E, which is the latest technology, which we all can't probably take advantage of. You'll need to have an updated router, whatever you want to call it, to take advantage of that. But fantastic. I mean, fair dues to them for doing that. So they're basically saying, we're going to future-proof this for you using the latest Wi-Fi technology. And then we're going to couple it with an Ethernet port from 2010, whatever, because it's capped to 100 meg. 100. You would think at least it'd be a gigabyte port. 100. Now, that is basically the same as little dongles. I don't have one to hand. But I reviewed them maybe about maybe 5 years ago on my channel. And I was appalled. I didn't realize at the time that it was capped at 100 meg, because I had a third-party Chinese one, which basically I could get faster speeds. My broadband at the time was 350 at that time, and I was getting speeds of 300, 350 from the so-called inferior Chinese product. I know they're all Chinese products. I know they are, but the so-called proper Chinese products, as opposed to the Western Chinese products that we've got right now, was superior. So this Amazon product, which was double, 3 times the price, only gave you 100 meg. And that's exactly what you've got there, 100 meg. So we're all got faster and faster internet speeds, and they've given us an Ethernet port for 100 meg. Now, I know that's all you need for whatever you're streaming, and that is adequate. And it's stable, grant you. But 100 meg, really? Why can't you just put a gigabit port in? Gigabit port, whatever you want to call it. A fucking gigabit port in there. Why not do that? Honestly, I'm just getting this off my chest because it just reminds me of what Apple have been doing for years, and now Amazon are doing the exact same thing. Apple, I've got a couple of Mac Minis in front of me. One's the 2020 version, the M1 version. It's great. Really good value for money, I've got to be honest. So I might be counter-predicting myself, or what you want to call it. But the other one is a 2014 model. Now, I was wanting a Mac Mini probably from about 2013, early 2013 till eventually when I got it late 2014. And I thought at this point, because Apple were putting out products quite regularly at that point, I thought, right, I don't want to get the older device. I don't want to get something that's, it's a year and a half old, whatever, the 2012 version. I want to wait because I'm sure they'll bring out a new one. And I waited and I waited and I waited until eventually they brought out the 2014 Mac Mini, which was completely inferior to the 2012 version. So basically I waited for a year or so and I got an inferior version. Now, why was it inferior? Because the processor was only dual. It was a dual processor. I can't even think of what I'm talking about now. You've got a dual band processor. That doesn't sound right in my head. Dual band processor. That's right. That is right. As opposed to previously, you had a quad. So you had a quad band processor. That still doesn't sound right in my head. I hope I've got that right. So basically, we've gone down. It would supposedly be an upgrade, but we've really gone down. Another thing is you couldn't upgrade the RAM. It was soldered onto the motherboard. And if you wanted to upgrade the HDD, the hard drive to an SSD, you'd have to take everything out to do that. But the previous version, you could have literally just changed it very easily because it's right at the very top of the unit or the bottom of the unit, depends how you're taking it apart. And the RAM was even easier, just a wee slot and you can change up the RAM. So I was disappointed. And by the time I went to get it, I couldn't get the 2012 version anymore unless I got it second hand and I wanted to get something new, so I ended up getting the 2014 version. The exact same things happened with this Amazon Cube, is if you can get the second gen Amazon Cube, if Apple made a cube, the Amazon Cube, get the second gen, because they were selling it on here on Amazon for, I think it was £60. That was the real deal. They haven't done it now because they've wised up. Either that, they've run out of stock, but they've realized that, wait a minute, this isn't much of an upgrade here. Why are people spending 140 when they can get pretty much the same device, albeit slightly spec'd less? for half the price. That was the real deal, because you still got the same ability to control your TV and your amp through your voice. It is hands-free Alexa, so you can do that, which is about a £40 add-on that you can get now if you want to do that, if you've got a Fire Stick. That was the real deal. That was the real deal. This isn't the real deal. This is not the real deal. £140. No, I'd rather get an Apple TV for that price. I've got to be honest. I would. I really would. Because with that, you're not getting any advertising on it. Albeit you're stuck into the Apple ecosystem. But if you've got your iPad, your Macs and everything else, that'll probably suit you. You can still, watch TV on it, if you know what I'm talking about. You can still do all those things in an Apple TV. And it's a more powerful device, I think, anyway. I think it's a better device. I know that's contentious. Or you could always get an NVIDIA Shield. Let's face it, that is a far superior device port-wise as well. Really, really annoying that Amazon have done this. I've got my Apples and my Amazons really mixed up. I'm so annoyed, so upset with it, because Apple did the same thing with their iMacs as well, by the way. They did the exact same thing. The upgrade, I think it was 2015 version, was basically inferior to the 2013 version or the 2012 version, because, again, processor wasn't as good. You didn't have dedicated GPU. And you didn't have upgradable RAM. It was all soldered on. And so you go onto eBay and you're actually looking for an older device. And that's the same thing as what you could do with this device here. Get on eBay, get an older device. Hopefully people are selling them off, because that's the real deal. Don't get suckered in and getting this just because it's got a port or two, because you really don't need it. You'll probably get faster speeds if faster speeds through with Wi-Fi. You can always put dongles and things like that. So that's not the real deal. That is not the real deal. And it just frustrates me. This is why I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated with tech. I don't see why you should be making videos about tech that's shit. I'm sorry, but it is. It isn't. It's not innovating. They should be innovating, and they're not. They're just trying to keep their profit margins up. They're just trying to stay relevant. They're a bit like the Tories in the UK, to be honest with you. They just want to stay in power. That's exactly the same. So they think we better update our stuff. People are looking for a new device, a new cube. Let's update it. Oh, they're really looking for ports. Let's give them ports, but let's do it in the cheapest way possible so they can have the biggest profit margin. And it sucks. It sucks. So please, if you bought it, yeah, enjoy it. I'm sure it'll be great, fantastic. I'm only talking about price here. But if you want to get a bargain, get the real deal, get the second gen. If you can get it, get the second gen. If you can get it brand new, get it. If you can get it cut price, but 140 for that, do me a favor, Amazon. Wake up, man.